Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. And as facilities manager for the Hermit Holmdel project, I have been tasked with gathering a few things for the new radio telescope exhibits. Those are going to be going in basically right up there. They're going to be punching holes in the ceiling any day now, really. But they need a few things to do that. One of those is end rods. And you might not know this, but you make end rods with a combination of chorus fruits and blaze rods. So, what I've done here is I basically got a bunch of chickens to make a bunch of eggs, so then we can throw those at the chorus plants here. Okay, hold on. There's one. Look at that. Look at that. We broke one. There's another. I'm amazing at third-person egg throwing. Boom. But, yeah, to switch to first person, so I can show you. This is real. This is a real thing. You can use eggs to break the chorus flowers off your chorus fruit plants, and then you harvest the rest of the fruit with that. Now, if you don't break the flowers first, they won't, allow you to plant new seeds properly, which neither is this chicken. Chicken, move. Boom! Look at that. So, we can just toss that there, and toss that there. And then, oh, we've got room for some more. That's right. Okay. Boom, egg time. Then we just take care of this. And hey, look at that. Look at that. Well, I was going to say that was incredibly efficient until the chicken jumped in my way. But other than the chicken part, this whole operation is very efficient. This also has the upside of being a nice little view outside the Juppet's office there. So, here's what we got to do next. We gotta go and get some fireproof potions and get some blaze rods now, because all the chorus fruit in the world won't help us make end rods if we don't have the second ingredient, the blaze rod. So, might as well be on my way over there now. Time skip. Oh, wow! Just look at all these! This is gonna be perfect for making the end rods for our Karl Jansky merry-go-round radio telescope. Karl Jansky designed a telescope without really meaning to. It was just supposed to be a big old radio receiver, about 100 feet wide, which is about 30 meters. Now we're going to scale that down to about 15 meters here in Minecraft. He was supposed to be looking for causes of interference for radio transmissions. And he basically was like, well, there's thunderstorms, and then there's, I don't know, something up in the sky. Maybe the center of the Milky Way. Or it's like, wait, you can observe the center of the Milky Way with a radio? What? And so people kept doing it. Over here, we're going to build another radio telescope. This one was more intentional, from Arecibo, Puerto Rico. And that's going to look really cool. It's going to be dug into the ground. Let me show you what I'm looking at. The Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico is really cool because it's built into a natural indentation in the Earth. One of my favorite planets. And basically, the idea was they found like a huge depression, like in the ground, that was generally shaped like a spherical cap. And then they built a dish that was the shape of a spherical cap inside of there. So we're going to build some kind of like woolly terrain around where the dish will go here. And then we'll also build little hilltops that the towers are on that would like connect to the receiver. Because they basically dug into the hillside like this huge dish that fit the bowl pretty well, and then they suspended over it on wires a big central receiver right in the middle, about 150 feet up, which we're going to scale down proportionally. Basically, this thing is going to end up being 5 meters high and about 10 meters across here, but it's going to look so cool. So, now we're going to dig out this part and kind of start putting the dish in. I was imagining maybe we use like quartz stairs and slabs or something for that. Haven't figured it out exactly, but I think it's going to be really cool looking. Sheer, sheer, sheer gray wool above purple trees, making an Arecibo telescope. It is in Puerto Rico. Having cleared out all the wool, now we got to clear out these things. Kapow! Wait, how do I reload? Kapow! There we are. So we're just going to make sure all the chorus flowers despawn or whatever before we chop down those trees. Ta-da! Perfect. Wow, it's just like really building a telescope. Then we come through here and we start working on the edges of our dish. Around the outside. Like so. As we place the finishing touches on our spherical cap here, I'm pretty excited. I feel like this is a pretty solid looking receiver. Woo! Wow! But it can't actually receive anything unless it has a place to, like, I don't know, get the reception. As I'm extending the foliage here, I'm also building my way toward where we need to actually put in the final tower. Boom. There it is. Tower time. Now that we've got all 3 towers, we can suspend the receiver above the dish. In theory. I don't know. It's going to be maybe a little ugly in Minecraft. Oh, jeez. Maybe the top of each tower is going to need to actually also be one of those. Because, yeah, that's bad. That doesn't connect. Hey, that works. Placing a wire in the sky or I'll fall down. Yeah. Well, I fell down anyway. So, this is basically how the real receiver worked. There was a big triangle in the center. Well, you can just kind of set that up like that, and that's pretty close. I was thinking maybe we put a chisel quartz block or something in the middle, just to look extra fancy. Then we remove the scaffolds. Now, this is obviously not to actual scale. Every block in here represents about 100 feet, which is about 30 meters. This is very small compared to the real one, but it's pretty cool. And it gets us started. Let's move on to this. We still have to go ahead and fashion all of our blaze rods and coarse roots into end rods, or at least some of them, because our inventory's full. Well, the good news is Karl has stopped by with some cocoa and some advice about where to get more blaze rods. The bad news is I don't think the scaling on this is going to quite work. See, like, even if we put the armor stand crossbars in like this, I feel like this whole thing just doesn't quite work at the scale we want. We technically need 7 of these supports going through here, and if this is 16 long, then we got nowhere to put the middle one, because it's going to be off-center. So I started thinking about, like, okay, well, maybe we just make it 1 more long, like 17. But that doesn't fix our crossbar problem. That doesn't fix a few other issues. I think what we actually want to do is, rather than scaling this down to 16 blocks from 30 blocks, once again, the real full thing would be 30 blocks long, which is pretty cool. Maybe we scale it down to like 21 blocks. And so we extend it a little bit out this way, but then we also have it kind of block this walkway here, because we actually don't want people just falling. So maybe we let the exhibit serve as a natural blocker? Now that's going to make this central rail circle larger. And at the end of the day, though, I'm kind of tempted to just, like, at the point where we're going from 16 to 21, which will get us, like, an extra 3 out on this side and 2 out on this side. Maybe we just add 5 on either side. Maybe we make it 5/6 scale. So it's not quite scraping the ceiling, but it's still pretty close. That might work. Let's try throwing some things down and see what hits. Time jump! I hope you have your fireworks coated to green for go, go, go! Because look, we're already going on our Karl Jansky's merry-go-round radio telescope. This wasn't intended to be a radio telescope. It was just a radio receiver designed to be rotated on this rail 360 degrees to pinpoint the sources of radio interference. Turned out there was one at the center of the Milky Way. Sagittarius A. They didn't know that at the time. But anyway, I've been trying to make this thing, and I hope your fireworks are also green for let's do it again. Because this is bad. This is not good, you guys. This antenna thing, the dipole antenna, is looking really terrible. I thought these iron bars would look great, but they're actually really rough. And also the wooden posts and stuff. None of this is working. None of this is working. So I went down to my workshop. I want to show you what I've got. I've got some stuff underway. We have descended to our end chorus fruit farm. Below our Arecibo telescope, and right there is where our Karl Jansky merry-go-round's gonna go. Anyway, I've got another mock-up down here that I was working on. I was thinking maybe I could connect these walls, like so, to the fence posts. Those will look real good, right? They don't connect. So then I thought, okay, I'll connect fence posts to fence posts. They don't connect. I do like how these look. I think that the deep slate for the actual dipole antenna looks good. And I do like the white frame. But here's what I realized, is if we get rid of these, we can mount the dipole antenna to the white posts made of diorite. Yay, diorite, you did it. Woo! It's the only time everybody was happy for you. Yay! So, we'll just replace the original posts with the diorite, is my thinking, and we'll replace the iron bars that we had up stars with the polished deep slate, and I think the overall design should look better. And if we don't like it, we can keep experimenting with different stuff in our mock-up down here without making the overall museum look ugly with all of our experimentation. Yay! As the facilities facilitator, I have returned over here to our welcome center. Woo! Come with me if you want to zoom in. Maybe not that far, then you can't see me. Woo! In previous episodes, I showed y'all how I was establishing this ramp and had a rough idea of where the map needed to go. Well, good news, everyone. I've added another little mezzanine here and gotten the map in. The floor for the basement layer is in place, and I've gone ahead and got some rough storage in the ranger's office. Lots of room for improvement, though. One thing I noticed as I was laying the map in is we don't have Jevons Pond in at all here. So I think it's time for us to gear up and grab those maps and head out there with our elytra flaps. It is so relaxing and so refreshing just flying over this area. Still so much left to do from a facilities standpoint. Obviously, the roof on the cafeteria still isn't done either. But you know what? It's all coming together bit by bit. We got this new roof on over here, as well as the skylight over the Arecibo receiver. Hey, there's Jevons' thing there. Okay, so we got the water coming in on each of these other maps. Okay, I think we got all the maps. Maps are looking good. Let's head on back like we should. But yeah, I think the Juppet's done a pretty good job down here with this Arecibo receiver, as well as this Karl Jansky's merry-go-round. We still don't have great signage and pathing through the exhibit, though I do appreciate this radio waves bit, where we have the stacked banners there. That's actually pretty cool. So I am pretty happy with that. But anyway, we should probably keep moving. Metro Mayhem is opening soon, and I gotta get over there. Time skip. Metro Mayhem was a lot of fun. Make sure to check out my standalone episode where I ran through all that. If you want to see that run, we had commentary from Impulse. Pretty good stuff. Anyway, that rabbit is running away from the door because I want to show y'all what I've been up to in here. Inside of our concrete processing area, I have added a new roof, glass, a new floor, dripstone, new barrels, wood, containing sand and gravel. And then, basically this part is just the same as it always was, except it, doesn't get you attacked by phantoms and creepers and stuff, thanks to the layer of glass with the layer of spiderweb string above it. So I'm feeling like this is a pretty nice improvement as well. The Juppet and the Beetlejuice are going to need a lot of concrete for their museum exhibit areas. Another thing I knocked out over here is I got rid of all the horses. No, not like the way Joel Smallish Beans would. I moved all the horses around the side here with the magic of the new magical. Everybody gets a saddle ability. Because I can just make a bunch of saddles now, because of the new crafting recipe with leather and iron ingots, I was able to just saddle up every single horse that was in all those pits and move them into here, which is going to eventually be the garage of the Welcome Center. You guys good down there? It kind of feels like maybe this is not an optimal horse storage option. There we go. Little horse explosion. Just for kicks. Okay, well, yeah, I'll come back and improve this. If you guys have any suggestions on how to make the horses more comfortable in here, leave a comment in the YouTube comment section below. But anyway, that connects back here to our map room, which I'm excited about. Can we get our improvements to the concrete building on the map real quick? Perfect! You can see the little iron pyramid there. And this is looking good. So we can just drop that back into place. That building is now on the map looking correct. And yeah, we'll come back. We'll clean up this stable and this welcome center kind of plaza here. Wait, no, that's not where the plaza is. I got turned around. Plaza area is going out this way. But yeah, this is an opportunity. A very plausible opportunity. In the meantime, I kind of want to go see what the Juppet has been up to, although we're going to need our elytra for that. The sun rises over Hermit Holmdel, but there's somewhere else it rises too. It seems to be over Skizz's pyramid of Maslow's philosophy or theory of motivation. Ooh. Looks like Skizz put this in. Last time Skizz needed to drop something off for me, he put this thing here. And this time, this other thing showed up. So my guess is this is Skizzlow's hierarchy of needs. Let's see what's in the untitled book. Oh! Looks like Skizz returned the book to me. Cool. Well, so I guess that this is kind of like our corporate training certificate, certifying that we have completed Skizzlow's hierarchy of needs. And I have just the place to put this. Let me show you guys. Let's grab all four of these banners, making sure not to leave any on the ground. I have actually just been working on the Fleshbound Facilities Manager's office. Right next to our visible light exhibit is the Fleshbound Facilities office. I've got the conference room set up here. I'm thinking this waiting area, maybe we had a coffee stand or something. I don't know. Leave your comments and the suggestions in the YouTube comment section below. But this area here, my office, I've already started putting in some of my trophies and like when I was featured on a stamp. But maybe right here we could fit Skizz's thing. That's 3 wide. And so that gives us a little bit of space on either side of it. It would look cool. You'd be able to see it when you come in the door there. So let's try this here first and then see if it feels about right. So we've got... I would not have guessed that that banner started off as brown. Wow. That looks pretty good from in here. When somebody's at the desk, you can see it in the background there. I like it. It definitely dominates that part of the room in a very positive way. So I kind of think... Now, the way Skizz had this right here next to it, I think maybe we recessed that slightly. We put the book slightly further back here. And then that kind of gives it a little bit more depth. And when you come through... Oh! Okay, I love that it's visible through the window behind the receptionist there. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. There's a lot of room to put other trophies and cool stuff in here, but I'm pretty happy with that. You know what I'm also pretty happy with, though, is the Juppet's progress out that way toward the radio wave exhibit. Why don't we head up there now? Let's enjoy this hole in the roof while we can, and see what the Juppet has been doing with that concrete. There it is now! Look at that! The radio waves path has been highlighted with this concrete. Oh, there's a little Karl Jansky demonstrating the scale of the merry-go-round. This is basically built at 1-to-1 scale. So that's what a guy pushing this thing on its rails would look like. And then, meanwhile, the Arecibo radio telescope has little guys with hard hats down in there. These guys are also at scale. That is what a 6-foot-tall human would look like in relation to this radio telescope. This thing is absolutely huge. I probably want to get some more armor stand structures in around it for like little buildings and stuff to give an even better sense of this. But I feel like that's a pretty good start, just having those little guys in there, kind of pointing and yelling at each other. That's huge. Looks like there is also now a stairwell leading down to the microwave exhibit. So, and I suppose these torches are going to set a rough path for how things are going to go through here. So, that's probably all going to be up in the air. As I check the Juppet's work, one thing I'm not seeing is any sort of placards or fact cards about the exhibits. You know, how are we supposed to know this is Karl Jansky's merry-go-round? How are we supposed to know this is the Arecibo radio telescope from Puerto Rico, one of the United States' finest islands? You know, there's just no real, I don't want to say context clues, but I mean like context signposts. So, yeah, not seeing any of those. One thing I'm also not seeing this episode was any mid-roll ads. That is thanks to Paige Marinchuk, Patreon patron extraordinaire. In lieu of that mid-roll ad, I will now present a haiku of my own devising. Radio wavelengths are too large to shake you up. But microwaves? Lol. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.